Ethereum is just getting started. If you thought that DeFi, NFTs, and stablecoin transfers were the be-all, end-all of the Ethereum blockchain's use case potentials, holy cow, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because what Ethereum is capable of doing, the things that are starting to be done, the use cases that are coming, absolutely crazy stuff here. Ethereum is going to be worth trillions of dollars in the future. We see the network itself upgrading, we see the users coming in, the developers coming in, and of course, the use cases expanding, which will bring in more developers, more users, more economic activity to the blockchain. In this video, I'll break down what some of those future use cases for Ethereum are. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that's a topic that you would like to learn some more about, make sure you are a subscriber to the Lark Davis channel, that you're gently tapping on the thumbs up button just for the YouTube algorithm, and of course, click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. And to start off, I think we need to go back just a little bit to understand what was and what is happening right now on Ethereum. So back in 2017, the big use case for Ethereum was fundraising. ICO mania really pushed the limits of what was possible for the 2017 bull run. But that use case was pretty short-lived, and actually there's not much direct token sales happening straight through Ethereum like it used to back in the day. We do have launchpad platforms and stuff like that, so there's still all those token sales going on. It's just the game's changed quite a bit since then. A lot of people came out and said, hey, look, Ethereum, one-trick pony, was only ever good for token sales and fundraising. Nothing else of value will ever come of Ethereum. Well, then 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, we've had such an incredible explosion of use cases and users on Ethereum. The rise of decentralized finance back in 2020 was led by Ethereum. The biggest, most important protocols with the deepest liquidity still exist on Ethereum. We're talking about Aave and Uniswap and all these other big platforms. Decentralized finance is incredibly big. And to be honest, we've just seen the tiniest fraction of the potential of decentralized finance. We still, out of all the Ethereum addresses that exist, only like 1 or 2% of those have ever interacted with a decentralized finance protocol. Think about how crazy that is. And then we think about how few people are even using crypto these days. We're still way before mainstream adoption. So we have so much potential for all these borrowing and lending protocols and these transfers and all this stuff to really, really take off. DeFi is going to be massive. This is happening right now. NFTs, big market. Now, NFTs have actually been around for some years now, but it remained a pretty small niche thing for quite a while until early 2021, when the NFT space completely just exploded. Now we have all the world's biggest brands, the biggest franchises, like Marvel and stuff like that, getting into the NFT space. This is something that is going to be incredibly big. This is collectibles on the blockchain, digital, verifiable ownership of all kinds of cool stuff, from collectible card games to art pieces to your favorite superhero comics. All of this stuff is coming, and it's going to grow massively. We're still just seeing the tiniest bits of early adoption happening. Way far away from mainstream adoption for NFTs right now. Still very bullish on that whole asset class. Stablecoins, this is a very disruptive thing in a way that I think a lot of people never thought that it would be. Stablecoins are massive. They're allowing you to send stable value to people anywhere in the world, or to take those stablecoins and put them into decentralized finance to get rates way higher than you're ever going to get on any bank anywhere. So this is incredible stuff. There's actually been a 10x growth in the total market cap of stablecoins just in the last year. So this time last year, they're around $10 billion for the stablecoins. Now there's like $115, $120 billion for the stablecoins out there in the market. That's a lot of growth in a very short amount of time. Gaming, obviously, that's been the big hot trend recently. We've seen play to earn games giving out unique NFTs and stuff like that. These have been super popular. People are literally making a living right now by playing these video games at home. It's redonkulous, man. And that's just where we are right now. Right now, if all this stuff just continues, if nothing else was ever added on to Ethereum, all of this stuff just keeps to grow, DeFi gets bigger and NFTs get bigger and gaming gets bigger, Ethereum would go on to be worth trillions of dollars in this scenario alone. But here's the interesting thing. That's not where the buck stops. In fact, Vitalik Buterin, he's out there saying it's time to go beyond just DeFi and the kind of current state of affairs in the Ethereum universe. It's time to start seeking out new use cases. Now, right now, with all that stuff that we just talked about going on, Ethereum is settling $22 billion a day on chain. That's about 4 times more than Bitcoin, which is the next nearest competitor. And it rivals the big payment companies. They're doing more daily transfer value than PayPal. Now, still less than Visa, for example, but they're getting close. They're getting close. So, and that's just at the beginning of adoption of the early innovators in DeFi and NFTs and all that stuff. We haven't got big yet. We haven't got mainstream, and we haven't even expanded out the use cases yet. Again, incredible freaking potential here. By the way, if you want to earn some passive income on your Ethereum, maybe on your Bitcoin, maybe on your stablecoins, you should check out Celsius. You can lend out your crypto. Super easy to do. Just deposit your crypto, and you get paid out every single week into your account. 5.35% on Ethereum, 6.2% on Bitcoin, and 8.88% on dollar stable coins. And they have a lot of other assets as well, like Polygon and Uniswap that you can also lend out on their platform. Use the link down below to start your account for Celsius, and you will get a $40 Bitcoin bonus. So go ahead and check that out if you want to start earning a passive income. Now let's talk about these future use cases for Ethereum. First, let's talk about bonds. Bonds are super boring, dude, but bonds are also a $119 trillion market. Now, look, I know there's the legal complexities, and it's a lot of stuff when it comes to bonds, and we're probably not going to see the kind of quick overnight adoption like we're seeing with all these, decentralized finance protocols popping up, because all you need is a few coders and the people can just throw stuff out there. Whereas with bonds, if we're talking about actually bringing bonds onto the blockchain, it's a much more complicated thing. It requires lawyers and banks and regulators to get on board, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the deal. It's already happening. It's already happening. For example, this article from just a couple months ago, European Investment Bank issues out 100 million euros worth of bonds on the Ethereum blockchain. It's not the first bank to do it either. Banco Santander, a few other banks as well have all issued out bonds. They've been playing around with this. They've been experimenting with it. They've been putting these bonds on the Ethereum blockchain. They're not using another blockchain, and they're putting it straight onto the Ethereum mainnet. Very interesting stuff. These early use cases, these test runs, 100 million euro bond, these are the early use cases, but we're going to see a lot more of this stuff coming in the future. Again, there's a $119 trillion market ready to be disrupted here. And it will be. Oh, it will be. Central bank digital currencies. This is another potentially massive things. Now, most countries right now are in some stage of researching launching their own crypto coins that represent their local fiat currencies. And I know what you're thinking, Lark, surely they're just going to use gated enterprise chains. It's going to have nothing to do with the public Ethereum mainnet. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. And this is the very interesting thing. There's $95 trillion worth of fiat money out there. That's both in direct bills and stuff like that, but also money market accounts and all this stuff. 95 trillion, give or take. A few trillion, probably a few trillion more. This is actually last year's number. So with all the money printing that's gone on, we're probably at 100 trillion by now. But anyway, I digress. Central bank digital currencies, they're going to be a big thing. They're coming. All these countries are working on them. And here's the interesting thing. Some countries are deploying it, at least their test cases they're deploying on Ethereum. Think about that. The Bank of Israel, they're testing it on the freaking Ethereum mainnet. How about that? How about that? That is very, very interesting. There's a couple other countries as well that Consensus, the big Ethereum development studio, is actually working with in terms of developing this. So imagine that. Imagine if we actually start seeing entire countries running their central bank digital currencies either directly on the Ethereum mainnet or on a layer 2 scaling solution for the Ethereum mainnet. How about that? Imagine if we see central bank digital currencies running on Polygon or on Optimism, on Arbitrum. These are all, of course, layer 2s for Ethereum. This is a big, big economic potential right here because, for one, it brings a lot of value to the Ethereum network. I mean, imagine that. Imagine investing in the settlement layer that's literally going to have the money of countries running across it, but also it's going to introduce a lot more money into the digital age and allow for much easier access to the cryptocurrency markets, which will obviously pump up our bags, because when it's as easy as just going click, click and buying some more Ethereum or some more Bitcoin, instead of having to get it out of the bank, move it over to your crypto account, you guys know how it is right now. It takes a while. It's not as easy as just going, hey, I want to buy some Bitcoin. Oh, I'll just use my digital shekels here to do that. That will be game changing. What about the stock markets? Stock markets, $100 trillion industry, probably worth more. Again, that's last year's number, the total value of all stock markets in the world right now. Consider they've been hitting all-time highs again and again and again. It's probably more like $110, $120 trillion right now. Big numbers. Anyway, stocks, tokenized equities, this is a big, big use case. Again, we're talking about bringing in a lot more money. We're already seeing the first innovators starting to do this. We've had companies literally issuing out equity on the Ethereum blockchain already. Now, this is a tough area. I think that it's probably gonna take a lot longer to get to the point where we start seeing stocks actually trading on the blockchain. It will come. Security tokens, it's going to be a big, big thing. And I think the only thing holding security tokens back, it's not the technology. We've had the technology for security tokens, for running stocks and shares and dividend payments and all that stuff for a few years now. The big problem is regulators. Regulators are kind of slowing all this down. So let's say that stocks are the last thing that we get on running on top of Ethereum 5 years, 10 years from now. That's still massive, and that's still, technologically speaking, just around the freaking corner. So stocks will come. We already have the first innovators bringing equities to the Ethereum blockchain. We'll see a lot more of that stuff coming in the future. Real estate, this is another industry well suited for incredible freaking disruption. $290 trillion industry globally. Now, it's not all going to come onto the blockchain, but we're already seeing the first use cases of tokenized ownership of shares in property. We've had a lot of different cases. This is an article from Consensus from a while ago. They said there's already $350 million worth of real estate, which has been tokenized on Ethereum. That number will be significantly higher by now. It's happening. We see already the early movers in this. We see the use cases that are already starting to develop where people are getting these tokenized shares of property. But it goes much beyond that, and this is a very interesting thing. So, property registry, also something that's very valuable to happen on chain. Now, there's a situation currently where a lot of people in the world cannot prove that they own the property that they own. Or a lot of people are in a situation where it's hard to prove they own the property that they own because they live out in the countryside. The register of who owns what property is kept in the capital, which is 300 miles away, and it's in a paper file back in some filing cabinet. It's hard for that person to get through the bureaucracy to even get to the documents to say that they own the property. And then, of course, it opens up the possibility of corruption for somebody to come in, give that person working in that cabinet filing room $500 and say, hey, that property right there, I need you to make that paper disappear, and then we're going to go take it. And this stuff happens all of the time. So actually registering properties on the blockchain makes it more accessible to everybody, updates the system into modernity, and has a massive potential use case. So not just tokenizing the ownership of real estate, but also making it easier to prove who owns what. And then, of course, when you can prove that you own your property, you have a digital certificate, an NFT inevitably of your property. Well, then you can take that and take it over to a lending protocol like Aave. You can actually get a loan against your property without having to go and beg a bank down on your knees saying, please, sir, give me some money. No, you'll be able to do this all in a decentralized way. That's an incredible use case for this technology moving forward. All this stuff is going to happen too. If you're thinking, wow, this all sounds pretty crazy, Lark, we're already seeing the first use cases of this stuff happening, and we're going to see it happening more and more in terms of, for example, using your property as collateral. We've already seen actually test cases of that happening last year. So it's happening. This stuff is only in the earliest test phases and the pilots and stuff, but it's all coming, and it will all have transpired by the end of the decade. Insurance markets, another area, $7 trillion worth of insurance markets out there. Right now, cryptocurrency insurance, it only deals with smart contracts and hack risks. But this is an industry, again, ready for massive disruption. Imagine micro insurance, being able to get insurance for your 10-minute Uber ride or your 30-minute flight or whatever it might be. And you can just do that in a few seconds on your phone. Boom, boom, boom. You're done. This is all very disruptive stuff. Actually, insurance, it doesn't touch, to a large extent, the majority of the world's population. So many people out there who could benefit from low-cost insurance, which could be offered by cutting out all the middlemen and all the bureaucracy, would be able to benefit from that in developing countries the world over. We're talking about introducing billions more people to having the access to insurance that they simply don't have right now because they live in the wrong country to be able to get that kind of stuff. Now, Raoul Pal, this is the next use case, he's been talking a lot about social tokens. So we can see a few different things actually going on here. But essentially what we're talking about, allowing brands, communities, creators to be able to issue out tokens for exclusive content, exclusive merchandise, exclusive discounts. So you can imagine your favorite artist, right? Let's say The Weeknd, for example, right? You're a big fan of The Weeknd's music. So he's going to issue out social tokens for his community, right? And so that's going to get, exclusive content to, his album releases before they get released, for example, or, for live recordings that don't get released anywhere else, but get released to people who are members of that social community. Maybe he's going to release a limited edition of 100 The Weeknd jumpers. Well, it's only available to people who hold his tokens. What about for his next concert? If you hold The Weeknd's social tokens, you're going to get a 10% discount on those concert tickets. Or you're going to get, if you hold a certain amount of the social tokens, maybe you'll get a VIP pass. This is the kind of stuff that we're starting to talk about. And it's every music artist, it's every painting artist and author and social media creator and big brands like Dolce & Gabbana and Louis Vuitton and all these guys. Big, big potential here for this to come. And on a similar note to that, I think we could kind of lump this in together to an extent with DAOs, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. This is a way for the communities to actually govern themselves in a permissionless manner that allows for trust to come in to these organizations. So again, huge potential here. We can see governments and companies and communities and all kinds of different organizations using this kind of technology for decision making and for collaboration on a digital level, with everything again being transparent and verified. Very cool use cases for this. DAOs have been getting a lot of attention recently. I think the investors have been getting into the DAOs a little bit, but realistically haven't seen the super mega excitement around a lot of the DAOs that are out there, and there's some DAOs that have done quite well. But I think a lot of people are still kind of not really fully understanding the potential of this structure and what it means. And the final, we're going to finish up here just a minute, just one more, and this is not an exhaustive list. I want to tell you that. It's not an exhaustive list. There's more things we could have talked about, but I don't want to stand here talking about all the potential use cases of Ethereum all day. You get the point. You get the point. There's a lot of stuff going on, man. Last one I want to mention, document verification and also identity. More broadly, it's big use case. We've seen actually blockchain projects working with different countries in this regard. Cardano very famously signed up with the the Ethiopian Ministry of Education to do verification for like 5 million people in terms of identity stuff. So that's really, really big. This is a recent one from Ethereum. India to use the Ethereum blockchain to verify diploma certificates. So this is to cut down on fraud in diplomas. So you'll have your verified diploma uploaded to the Ethereum blockchain where it can then be checked. So it's going to be a historical record, a verifiable record of your diploma. That piece of paper is really easy to fake, but it's not easy to go back and to try and fake it on the blockchain, right? You can't rewrite the blocks. So this is a pretty cool use case as well. Document verification, cutting down on fraud from stuff like diplomas. Talk about real estate again as well. We could see things like ticketing come in. NFT tickets, verifiable tickets. The black market for fake tickets is huge. The amount of fraud going on in the ticketing industry is massive. This could almost eliminate it. Think about that. That is crazy stuff. Identity also, the amount of people globally who have identity issues or it's difficult to prove their identity or whatever it might be. We're again talking about massive disruption here. So right now, Ethereum, with all of this stuff coming, we're only worth $270 billion. There's only a fraction of the use cases that I mentioned here, which are getting attention. We are seeing the pilot programs. We are seeing the early innovators stepping into the space. And even if we only have, none of this stuff ever happened, right? No bonds, no real estate, et cetera, and we only stayed with DeFi and gaming and NFTs forever forward, it would still be a massively undervalued asset at $270 billion because the potential of just those three verticals alone is incredible. And then when you realize all this other stuff is happening and is coming, the market cap of Ethereum will be worth trillions of dollars. It's coming. It's coming. Anyway, your question for today. Which of these use cases do you think is going to be the biggest? Which one of these use cases do you think is the most exciting? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.